Hello, everybody. It's me, Malachi. I'm going to help you here with a MXM quick start guide in case you're new to the game or returning and you don't remember all the mechanics. I'm going to help you get started on your account and figure out what you need to be doing in order to get up to speed on PvE and PvP. Nodes. You need to unlock all the node pages that you can immediately and fill those node pages without as many, with as many loadouts as you can with legendary nodes. Different masters have different layouts for those nodes, and if you want, for the most of the time, you should be following the efficiency guide laid out for each master. They're color coded, so it's easy to follow. To grab nodes as a PvP focused player, you'll need to head over to the Metal Exchange, the currency you can get from playing PvP matches only. If you have, if you're more of a PvE player, you're going to get these node rewards from playing stages. The nodes are going to be of random rarity and random types throughout your grind, from lower to higher rarities, increasing with the difficulty of the stages. And node costs were reduced from 150 to 15 on the MXM Reborn server for battlefield medals for competitive fairness. So that way people aren't just completely overran by players with better nodes. You can get up to speed a lot faster now. Hope to see more improvements on the speed in which you can obtain those in the future. But we've given the devs of MXM Reborn feedback on node pages being kind of like a pay-to-win nature. And we're assuming currently that node pages won't cost X coin or anything money-wise in the launch for competitive balance and fairness. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that, and hopefully that goes well. The next thing we'll go over are weapon augments. So for each character you plan on playing, and eventually all characters, you're going to want at least to upgrade at least one weapon augment for that character. We'll get in some of the gritty details, but for what you need to know now, each character has a certain amount of resources it will take to unlock each level of a weapon augment. You can receive these resources as a PvP player by playing matches and receiving battlefield medals that you will also exchange in the metal shop for material. Or if you're a PvE focused player, you will need to get these from certain color matching stages for the crystals, and for the level 3 purple drops from specific stages for the particular items that you need. The harder the difficulty, the higher the quantity of the certain resources you will get for good score performance, such as the green crystals, or colored crystals, I should say, and you can get a lot of those from higher difficulty stages. Currently, we're asking the devs to lower the cost of the metal shop for MXM Reborn, so that PvP players can have access to these, because it's a really big ask for PvP players to pay the current metal rates for what they get in the exchange. So hopefully that's something we can do to get better balance and things in the future. And I'll have more on that later in the video. Tying into the weapon augment section, we have the time-space distortion segment. Some characters require special resources to upgrade their weapons that you need for PvP and PvE, called time-space distortions. This can take up to 15 to 20 runs to unlock each weapon augment on extreme difficulty. Currently, you can't get this resource in the metal exchange, unfortunately. Hopefully in the future that we will be able to do that. So the PvP focused players don't really have to play that part of the PvE. This will be required to have for, to have a level of competitive fairness. And we're working with the devs to ensure that they know that this is how it is and get it sorted out. Currently, there's only one of these available a day for specific characters, which isn't very good, and this will need to be open for all characters every day to ensure competitive access to these weapon augments at any short notice of like an event, or for ranked, for certain people, they main certain characters. So this is going to need to be addressed. But yeah, that is something you should know, that you're going to want to do those as well. They're rather mandatory, as you can't do them from the exchange currently. Also, something to note that these were enabled by NCSoft at the last 3 months of the game. All of them were up every day, so it's something that should probably be enabled on the MXM Reborn server as well, as this was kind of a well-known everyday item for each stage at the end of the game's lifespan. The order in which you'll want to focus on time-space distortions to get the certain character weapon augments. I'll show you some quick examples for PvE and for PvP. We'll show you the PvP one first, and then we'll show you the PvE one, and you'll see what kind of characters you should be prioritizing upgrading so that you can get more value out of that faster. So some things you should know about PvP is that there's 3 main modes for PvP, and I'll break those down for you. So 3v3, this is pretty quick-paced team deathmatch mode. It's 5 minutes long and there's not much more to explain about it than that. Basically standard most kills at the end of the timer wins. A win in this mode will net you about 4 battlefield medals, and a loss will net you about 2 battlefield medals. Next we have 4v4. It's a longer mode than 3v3 with a 10-minute timer. The first team to hold the most points on the map and accrue up to 300 points will win the game, or whoever has the most points before the timer runs out. A win will net you about 10 battlefield medals, I believe, and a loss will be about around 7 battlefield medals, if I remember correctly. 5v5 Titan Ruins. This is the most popular mode in MXM. For PvP, you'll usually see people trying to get a game for this together on the MXM Discords, and playing this mode often. You'll see us on the bridge. It's the most premier PvP mode in which the game balance is driven by. Playing this mode will require skill and map awareness for the various things happening in the match. I'll place an overview guide or 2 in the video description for you to find out more on this. It's a fast-paced action mode with like big clashes. It's kind of what keeps people coming back to play PvP in MXM. In normal games for this mode, you'll get about 23 battlefield medals for a win and about 17 for a loss, depending on how long the game goes on. And this mode also has a ranked feature with a pick ban selection of only 1 each master per team. It's the preferred and more balanced way of playing MXM than normals for 5v5. Normals has doubles and currently 50% node reduction. Hopefully one day the node reduction can be removed entirely so it can serve as a casual experimentation ground for playing ranked. So we'll see about that. Each of these modes can be played in a custom match format with or without pick ban mode. That way you can play, custom matches for like tournaments or with friends. But the only downside to doing that is you won't receive any battlefield medals. So be aware of that when you're doing custom games. One other thing to note about 5v5 queuing, if you queue 5v5 norms, the first 2 games you queue solo will be fake games. One of these pops relatively instantly, and the other one will pop at about 5 minutes. They look like real player names, but they're actually bots. This is leftover code from the 2017 NCSoft version. Unfortunately, these are just games that you have to play. Hopefully, this helps you understand why you might be having a really good, easy time your first couple matches, and then find out that when against real players, it gets kind of tough. So, it's kind of a breakneck change in pace. So be aware about that. But yeah, there's a way to get around it. You can duo queue. I don't recommend you do anything higher than duo queuing. Sometimes trio is fine, but it usually breaks the queue. And you'll have enough players, but then it won't be able to match the MMR. So be careful about that. You will eventually have to play those fake games at some point. Every account has to, and you have to win them. So keep that in mind when you are trying to play some Titan Ruins. Some things you'll need to know that apply only to PvE. Skill upgrades. Each master skill can be upgraded up to 6 times with gold. This will only affect skills in PvE, and PvP, it's just kind of like your skills upgrade depending on the match and the mode type, so you don't have to worry about getting upgrades outside the game with resources that way. So basically, unless you're a PvE player, you really don't have to focus on this as a PvP player. Stage difficulty and rewards. So the higher the difficulty, the greater amount of colored crystals you're probably going to get per stage. Augment modules, EXP, gold, and other rewards at the end of the stage. Stages currently require dispatch tickets in order to pick the stages you want, or for the resource you want. We have addressed with the devs of MXM Reborn that the system should be removed, as all players will need to be able to play certain stages of their choice to progress. The other reason is people do not queue random stages, so if you don't have a dispatch ticket, you will not be able to get the reward you need or to progress or to play stages at all, and that's kind of a bummer. We've addressed this with the devs and hope that this and all other cash shop pay-to-win items will be removed in the final build, such as boosts. For a guide on who you may want to consider for playing Titan Ruins, I suggest this tier list that I'll put in the description that you can pick to pick up some easier characters that'll help you in your time learning the game and getting into some norms and all that fun stuff. So here's some facts about the requirements to progress in MXM. Currently it takes about 434 soul to unlock each master in the game. That's the equivalent of leveling up about 434 times. With the current EXP iteration from the old patch 1.3, it is pretty much not possible to unlock characters this way. It takes an extremely long amount of time. It's likely that just like with this beta phase going on in MXM Reborn right now, it's likely that they're probably going to unlock all the characters on the launch. If they don't, it's going to greatly hinder people's ability to enjoy this game. But we have left the devs of MXM Reborn know that about this absurd requirement, and that it pretty much in the dev's best interest and the player's best interest that all characters are unlocked from the start. You'll find that games like Dota 2, Deadlock, and Marvel Rivals, which are very popular games right now, have all characters unlocked at the start. So we're going to hope that the devs do the right thing and unlock all the characters from the start for all the players. That'll really help everyone get into the game and keep things fair. For those of you that don't know, there is also a master training arena. You can test out the things about different masters in there and all sorts of cool abilities that they have and how you can maybe chain them together, see how much damage they do and all that stuff. You can test all the abilities for all the characters. In there you can also test the Titan Incarnate for Titan Ruins. I highly recommend you read all the tooltips for both forms of the Titan Incarnate and really learn how to use it and combo with it. It's a very strong and useful tool in that mode, and the more you know about it, the more your team will love that you know a lot about it, and that's very important to winning games of Titan Ruins. So, fun fact for each weapon augment, it's currently to get each weapon augment for each character, it takes about 18k battlefield medals, or about 561 wins in matches of Titan Ruins, which is the fastest way to get medals. We've addressed this with the devs, and we're hoping that for the cost of the battlefield medals for the material will be greatly reduced before or at launch of MXM Reborn, so this competitive requirement will be easily accessible for anyone who needs weapon augments for specific characters that they're going to play. It's for competitive balance and fairness that these will be greatly reduced, so players can get what they need quicker to get in the competitive tournaments and ranked, so everything's fair. So players that are many hours ahead of them don't just have an inherent advantage upon them. So it's very important that this is fixed. NCSoft really made a blunder in the original game by making this take a lot of time to get competitively balanced. So we're going to see if they'll do the right thing and fix that. With that said, that's my useful quick start guide here for how to get started with MXM in 2025. Currently, there's only one community server to play on, so they're going to have to be very, very careful in their decisions to make it as nice for the players as possible so that everything is clean and fair. And we're hoping they do the right things come launch, but this should cover everything you need to know for getting started in MXM.